Life doesn't come with trigger warnings. Okay, I'm sorry to break it to you, but that's the reality of life. Life doesn't come with trigger warnings, okay? So in life, things happen suddenly out of nowhere. You could get a disease and need to, or have an injury, need to have a surgery next week. And the world isn't going to stop and wait till you're perfectly calm to go in for that surgery. The world isn't going to stop until you're perfectly relaxed and got over a problem till you have to deal with, for example, the death or illness of a loved one. The world doesn't work like that, okay? That is not how things are, because the world in reality is pretty brutal in terms of what happens if we look at so many areas of life. It's pretty sort of like just survival or not, okay? That's the reality. So the world doesn't work how we would like it to work, and there's no other way to say that without being sort of quite blunt about it. If you look at the animal kingdom, for example, an animal hasn't got a chance to know that a predator's coming and be warned. They just get eaten. And they're not going to get the choice whether they get eaten in front of their family, no matter what age the kids are, or no matter how painful the way they get eaten, they just get eaten. And in the world, in reality, things again aren't fair. If we want to try, if we think that the world is fair, try and get on a bus without paying and say, I'm really sorry, I'm going through a hard time, I've lost my wallet. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to care about that. So the world doesn't work like that. Try and tell an energy company that you haven't got enough money to pay your electricity bill. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to care about that. So that's the reality of how life is. And it doesn't come with trigger warnings. The world doesn't come with things saying, okay, something scary is going to happen next week. Oh, just to let you know, something that you really don't want is going to happen next week. So you've got to be aware that we need to adapt for the real world. We need to not adapt to this sort of social media world ideas that everything can be comfortable and happy and everything will just run fine, because there is no guarantees. We could work on recovery, work on our business, work on our family, and be killed next week by a bus. That could happen and does happen. So the world does have these things, and we won't be prepared for all of these. Now, we have compassion for ourselves. We give ourselves the best chances, and we've survived up until the day today. We're alive today. Every other thing in life that we've ever been through, every situation, every scary thing, we've come through all of that stuff. So we can. And it's really important to be sort of direct about what's involved in life, so that we don't try and sort of go with a sort of wishy-washy approach of everything's going to be fine and everything, there's no problems and la la, because in reality in life, things may not be fine. So we've got to learn to deal with those kinds of circumstances and outcomes in life, even if they were to occur. Okay, so I accept that I could die, I could get ill, I could have many things that I don't want have happen. That could happen. I hope it doesn't, but it could. And so it's very important to not sort of like go for this whole, I need a trigger warning here, I need to know exactly what I'm doing here so I'm not too scared. It's too much comfort. We have to build up gradually, bit by bit by bit, but we can't expect trigger warnings in reality in life everywhere. Trigger warnings you see mainly in Facebook groups and forums, where people are like trigger warning on sort of mildly triggering things. Now, of course, if you're about to upload a really scary video exposure to someone who's just started exposures, saying to them like, hey, I'm just about to upload a video, that's understandable. But if you're just doing it for every single paragraph that you write that may trigger somebody, that is primarily you avoiding fear of harming someone and also trying to keep everything way too comfortable. So that is the key message about trigger warnings. It's not helpful. We should be looking for what are your top 10 triggers that someone can then go and have a look at and see if they want to and see some things that triggered you, because triggers are the antidote. They are the thing that is going to get you better. So triggers are really, really important.